Before you press play with your mind racing, before you scroll past this like it's just another video, I ask you, gently, to pause, to breathe, to be here. Because what you're about to hear is not just a voiceover. It's a letter, from one woman to another, from Maya's soul to your still beating heart. This is not content. It's a conversation. One layered with memory, with truth, with softness, and with strength. And maybe you didn't even know how much you needed a message like this. But your spirit did. So breathe. Unclench your jaw. Soften your shoulders. Put your phone down for just a moment. Let the world outside keep spinning. Right now, this space is yours. There's no pressure to get it all right. No test, no timer, just a sacred whisper echoing through the voice of grace, reminding you of what Maya always knew, that you are already whole, already worthy, already becoming. So before we begin, give yourself permission to receive, to hear, to remember, to feel, maybe for the first time in a long while. You're not alone. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Let's begin. Dear woman, there is something I need to tell you, gently and clearly. Your pain is not a burden. It's a voice, and it deserves to be heard. You've been taught to hide it, to tuck it behind polite smiles, hold it together, press on, to be the strong one, the kind one, the one who says, I'm fine, even when your soul is unraveling beneath the surface. But Maya would say, as I now echo, there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Your story, even the cracked, crooked parts, has value, not because it's pretty, but because it's true. Pain that is silenced does not disappear. It grows louder in the places we avoid. It sings through sleepless nights. It leaks into your laughter. It waits quietly for the day you'll sit down and say, I'm ready to listen. You don't have to justify your sadness. You don't have to edit your grief into something more palatable. You don't have to earn the right to feel. Let your pain speak. Write it down. Cry it out. Whisper it to a friend who won't try to fix you, only hold space for you. You are not weak because you hurt. You are wise because you're learning how to let your hurt speak instead of letting it harden. What happened to you wasn't fair. You didn't deserve the betrayal, the silence, the loss, the ache. You didn't deserve the years you spent shrinking yourself or walking on eggshells in places you should have been safe. But listen to me, you also don't deserve to carry it alone. You are not just what happened to you. You are the one who survived it. You are the one who is slowly turning pain into purpose, scar into strength, and silence into song. Your voice matters, even if it shakes, even if it stutters, even if all you can manage is a whisper today. There is no shame in the sound of your healing. There is only bravery. You don't have to bleed to be believed. You don't have to shatter to be seen. You don't have to tell your whole story to everyone, but you do have to stop pretending it never happened. Pain is not weakness. It's a signal, a sign that something mattered, that something changed you, and that now you're becoming someone new because of it. Let your pain have a voice, not so it can control your story, but so it can release its grip on your spirit. Because the moment you name your pain, you begin to reclaim your power. So speak, even if it's only to yourself in the dark. Even if the world isn't ready, you are. You are ready to honor your truth. You are ready to break the silence that never protected you. You are ready to write your own ending, with tenderness, not trauma. And in that, dear woman, you've spent so much of your life trying to take up less space. You've folded yourself into corners, dimmed your light to soothe someone else's shadow, softened your voice to make the room feel comfortable, even when the silence cost you your truth. But hear me now, with the gentle thunder of a woman who knows her worth. You were never meant to disappear. Cubes were never meant to shrink, to vanish, to make yourself so small, just to be accepted, tolerated, allowed. No. You were meant to be seen, to be heard, to stand in the middle of your own life without apology. Maya once said, "If you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be." And you were not created to be normal. You were created to be real, to be radiant, to be a woman who walks in her own rhythm and does not flinch when the world calls her too much. Let them call you too loud. Let them say you take up too much space. That's what power sounds like when it finally stops whispering. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. You are not dramatic for needing rest. You are not difficult for having boundaries. You are not arrogant for knowing what you bring to the table. And if no one else claps when you rise, clap for yourself. Stand tall anyway. Keep showing up for the woman inside you who once believed she had to disappear to be loved. You don't have to keep explaining your light to people who prefer the dark. You don't have to shrink to fit into stories that no longer deserve your name. You were never meant to disappear. You were meant to become a lighthouse. Not for everyone, but for someone, maybe even yourself. So take up space, speak with your full voice, and step boldly back into the center of your own soul. You are here, and that is enough. There are people who will only love you as long as you stay small, as long as you stay agreeable, quiet, predictable, as long as you don't grow past their comfort, as long as you don't rise past the version of you that made their world easier. But you, my dear, were not born to make others comfortable. You were born to be free. You've tried to make yourself softer for them. You've carried your fire in silence so they wouldn't call you too intense. You've cut off your own wings just to be held in someone's cage of approval. And for what? To keep peace that wasn't real? To protect relationships that didn't protect you? No more. Because the truth is, if your growth threatens them, they were never rooting for you. Maya Angelou said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So believe them when they turn cold as you rise. Believe them when they mock your healing, when they flinch at your boundaries, when they retreat from your joy. And do not shrink. Do not apologize. Do not return to a smaller version of yourself just to be digestible to people who never learned how to love you whole. You are not too much. They are just too limited. You were not created to be caged by opinions. You are not required to explain why you are evolving. You do not need permission to change, to outgrow, to break free. Your becoming is not up for negotiation. And if someone has to dim your light to feel okay with theirs, let them walk. Let them sit in the shadow they've chosen. You keep shining. Because true love, real soul-honoring love, never asks you to be less. It celebrates your becoming. It makes room for your expansion. It says, "Go higher, I'll meet you there." So rise, unapologetically, even if it makes others uncomfortable. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be liberated. And the more you refuse to shrink, the more permission you give other women to do the same. Be bold. Be too much. Be the woman who outgrew silence and now speaks like thunder. Because comfort is not your calling. Courage is. There's a little girl inside of you. Not a memory, not a phase. A living, breathing part of your soul who still remembers what it felt like to dream without permission. She's the one who used to dance without music, laugh with her whole body, believe in magic, and trust love without fear. And somewhere along the way, she learned to be quiet. She learned that some parts of her were too much, too wild, too loud, too soft, too sensitive. She learned how to perform instead of simply be. But my love, she is still there, waiting, hoping you'll turn around and remember her. Let the girl in you breathe again. Let her cry if she needs to. Let her play. Let her speak her truth, not for validation, but for release. Maya once said, "A woman's heart should be so hidden in God that a man has to seek him just to find her." Whatever is 247 books. I'd add this: let your own heart seek you again. The you that existed before the world told her who to be. That girl didn't ask for permission to feel. She didn't hide her joy to be polite. She didn't apologize for her curiosity, her brilliance, her softness. And neither should you now. You are not too grown to need wonder. You are not too strong to need rest. You are not too old to need kindness. Let the girl in you walk barefoot through your soul again. Let her write poetry without judgment. Let her pray out loud. Let her ask hard questions. Let her want things. Let her want more. Not more things, but more truth, more beauty, more life that actually feels like hers. Nine in wonder, and just to me, you don't have to protect her anymore. You just have to invite her back. Tell her it's safe now. Tell her she doesn't have to perform. Tell her the woman she became is learning how to love her again. That is healing. Not becoming someone new, but coming home to the parts of you that still believe in light. So laugh a little louder today. Cry when you need to. Wear what feels like joy. Pray like you mean it. And speak to yourself like you are worth listening to. Because you are. And the girl in you, she's not asking for perfection. She's just asking for air. So let her breathe. Let her become. And watch what happens when the woman you are finally meets the girl you were, with kindness, not shame. That, my love, is freedom. Dear woman, you do not have to be everywhere for everyone all the time. You do not have to run faster, try harder, or speak louder to matter. Your power is not in your performance, it is in your presence. The world taught you to hustle for worth, to prove you're needed, to earn rest, to apologize for stillness. But Maya taught us a different truth. Stand up straight and realize who you are, that you tower over your circumstances. You don't need to rush to prove you're strong. You don't need to fill every silence with an explanation. You don't need to chase spaces that do not recognize your light. You, just as you are, sitting quietly with your back straight and your soul intact, are powerful. You are powerful when you walk into a room and don't shrink. You are powerful when you say no without guilt. You are powerful when you rest, not because you're lazy, but because you've learned you don't have to break to be worthy. Your presence is enough. The softness in your voice, the grace in your hands, the stillness in your soul. Not because the world tells you so, but because you know it deep down, in the marrow, in the breath, in the spaces where your true self lives, unedited. You don't need to fix every room you walk into. You don't have to fill the silence. You don't have to be more useful to be more lovable. Just being, here, now, fully grounded in who you are, that is power. The kind of power that doesn't shake the room with volume, but with peace. The kind that doesn't beg to be seen because it already sees itself. You don't need to rush toward the future to be free. You only need to arrive in this moment. Fully, gently, unapologetically. Feel your breath. That's life, flowing through you. Not in the past you can't change, not in the future you can't reach, but now. This moment, this body, this breath. You. You, Blue, that is where your power lives. So slow down, unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders. Be here. Not to do, but to be. Because when a woman learns how to be present, she becomes unstoppable. Not because she controls everything, but because she is finally at home in herself. And when you are home in yourself, nothing outside of you can take that peace away. So remember, you are powerful, not because of what you do, but because of who you are when you are fully present. That is the gift. That is the echo. That is your truth. There will be seasons where your rising goes unnoticed, where your healing is invisible, where no one claps when you choose peace over performance or boundaries over burnout. You will walk away from things that nearly broke you, and there will be no parade, no cheers, no one to say that took courage. But still, you must rise, even without applause, even when no one sees the quiet battles, even when your becoming happens in the dark. Maya once wrote, "Still I rise. Not if they praise me, not when they understand me, not after they validate me. Still I rise." That is the heartbeat of a woman who doesn't wait to be seen to be strong, who doesn't wait for celebration to take her next breath forward. And you too carry that fire. Sometimes the most sacred growth happens when no one is watching, when you choose love over fear, stillness over chaos, healing over hiding. It may look like nothing from the outside, but inside, mountains are moving, cycles are breaking. The girl you used to be is finally exhaling, and the woman you're becoming is learning how to stand, not for the crowd, but for herself. That is holy work. You don't need a stage to be significant. You don't need a spotlight to be seen by the one who matters. You don't need numbers or trophies or praise to prove that your life has weight and worth. You just need to keep going, to rise again on days when your soul feels heavy, to rise again when the silence feels louder than the progress, to rise again when you're tempted to give up on yourself, not because it's easy, but because you promised that little girl inside you that you'd never abandon her again. So if no one told you today, I will. I see you. I honor your quiet strength. I believe in the woman you're becoming, and I hope you never forget, you don't rise for them. You rise for you. Keep rising. Even when they misunderstand your softness, even when your success looks different than theirs, even when your rising feels lonely, because your rise is not a performance, it's a revolution. And one day, you'll look back and realize the most powerful applause came from within, from the sound of your own voice whispering, "I did not give up on myself." That is the echo that lasts. There are questions you've carried for years about your worth, your place, your voice, your future. Questions whispered in quiet moments. Am I enough? Will I ever feel whole? Is there more than this? Who am I really? And maybe no one ever gave you the answers. Maybe the world only gave you noise. Maybe all you found were mirrors that distorted more than they reflected. But hear me now, clearly. The woman you are is the answer, not the woman you're still chasing, not the version of you that wears no scars, but this woman, right here, right now. She is not unfinished. She is not lacking. She is not late. She is the living answer to every girl who prayed for courage. She is the whispered prayer of survival made flesh. Maya once said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." That mission, it lives in you too. You were never meant to just get by, to just cope, to just endure. You were meant to thrive, not in someone else's shadow, but in your own skin. You are the answer to your younger self's deepest hope, that one day she'd grow into a woman who knows her value, who walks in truth, who loves herself not in pieces, but wholly. The world may still try to confuse you. It may still offer temporary things in place of lasting truth. It may still try to distract you from your center. But you know now where to return. You know how to find the flame within. You know that the woman you are, in all her softness, strength, complexity, and grace, is no accident. She is the evidence of healing. She is the product of rising. She is the echo of every yes you whispered in the dark. So stop looking outside yourself for permission. Stop waiting for the world to catch up to your light. Stop asking questions that only the woman inside you can answer. You already are the answer. Your laughter is a balm. Your wisdom is a gift. Your voice is needed. Your story is sacred. And your becoming, it was never about becoming someone else. It was always about returning to the truth of who you've been all along. So walk forward now, not searching, but knowing. You are not lost. You are home. And the woman you are, she is the answer. If Maya Angelou could write you a letter today, it wouldn't end with punctuation. It would end with power. Because her words were never just meant to be read, they were meant to be carried, spoken, lived, echoed, and now you are the echo. You are the continuation of every woman who came before you and whispered strength into your bones when you didn't know you had any left. You are the voice someone is waiting to hear, not because you have it all figured out, but because you're brave enough to speak anyway. There was a time when you thought you were too broken to lead, too wounded to rise, too unsure to inspire. But look at you now, rising anyway, loving again, choosing softness when it would be easier to shut down. That is the kind of courage the world needs, not perfection, but presence. You are the echo of Maya's wisdom, the continuation of her fire, the next note in the melody she sang so boldly when the world told her to be quiet. Her poem once said, "Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise." You too are a dream fulfilled, a hope embodied, a story still being written, not in ink, but in light. The way you hold space for others, the way you forgive without forgetting, the way you laugh after loss, the way you still believe in beauty. That is the echo. That is her legacy now being lived through you. So speak with truth, move with grace, live with bold softness. Be the kind of woman who leaves peace in her wake, who walks into rooms and reminds others of their worth, not with loudness, but with presence, with patience, with quiet, grounded fire. You are not just here to be inspired. You are here to be the inspiration. You are the voice someone will remember when they're about to give up. You are the eyes someone will look into and see themselves, maybe for the first time. You are the echo of Maya, of every woman who dared to rise, and of every girl who just needs permission to believe in herself again. Let your life say what your voice sometimes can't. I was here, I mattered, I healed, and I helped others rise too. Because you are not just part of the echo now. You are the echo. You are the fire. You are the voice. You are the light. And may your story, your beautiful, rising, imperfect, radiant story, be the next letter that saves someone else. Let this echo live on through you.